welcome back to my channel. Welcome back. Long time no post, but you know, we're back now. Today we're gonna be doing a little pros and cons video on UCSD. So just for a little bit of background context, I'm not currently at UCSD anymore. I went there my first year and had some other changes, so I decided to leave. Overall though, I would give my experience about a 6.5. I don't know. I would give my experience a hard 6.5 for different reasons that we'll go over. I've been wanting to make this video for a hot minute now, so let's get to it. So for those of you who don't know UCSD, it's divided into 8 different colleges. So we have Marshall, Warren, ERC, Muir, 6th, 7th, 8th, and Revelle. We forget about Revelle. We love you, Revelle. So starting off with the first pro, UCSD has great education quality, and some of my favorite college professors so far have been at UCSD. And even any of the classes that I didn't do so well in, not the professor's fault, it's my fault, guys, but the professors are great. They're very supportive. Sometimes the lecture class sizes can get a little crazy, but overall I think the professors, they do like a really good job of trying to be there for every student. There's no shortage of you know, mentors and people that you can reach out to for help, like older students, graduate students who are TAs, etc. And that kind of leads me into my second pro. There's so many resources from like within the library, within different clubs and organizations. There's resources for, you know, mental health, not just academics, advising that it doesn't concern your counselor necessarily. A lot of community events as well, just throughout the campus. On any given day, you'll just be walking and you'll just walk up on something going on. It's like, oh. So the next pro on my list is location. About 10 minutes from multiple different beaches. There's actually another area over in La Jolla where you can go visit seals, sea lions, and if you're lucky enough, you can see somebody get barked at by a seal or two for going too close. Okay, my next pro is the actual campus. The campus is beautiful. It's very large, and they're still building, like, which is crazy, but they're still building and expanding. They're building up more so than out, so they're adding a lot of new housing, because the housing is pretty difficult to get if you're not a first or second year. And even then, I knew some first years who had to stay in like hotels. But anyways, back to the campus. The campus is honestly a little city in itself, which is really cool. A lot of stomping ground, a lot of areas to explore, just like little areas that you can pop in to study, grab coffee, whatever, explore with friends. All right, now we're gonna talk about some of the cons of going to UCSD. The first and biggest one for me was always the diversity. I think about 4% of the population was Black. So one thing to keep in mind, like when I first got in, I knew it was a PWI, but obviously I didn't want to let that be a reason for me to not go and to not at least try to have a college experience there. But at the same time, I got there and I kind of just realized how, I guess, alienated I felt sometimes. Predominantly Asian, white, Hispanic, and international. A lot of international students, which is actually really cool. Just meeting people from different parts of the world. But at the same time, for me anyways, I didn't realize how much I kind of missed being around other people that looked like me and that could kind of relate to me in that way. But you know, it did end up having a little bit of an impact on my experience there, I would say. All right, that leads me to my next con though. The atmosphere, it could use some help. It could use some work, I won't lie. The acronym for UCSD is, yeah, UC Socially Dead. That's pretty accurate, I would say. No, it's not accurate. There's still like plenty going on campus, but it's definitely not like your typical college atmosphere. Like when you think of going away to college, it's definitely not what you would think. It's quiet on the weekends, very quiet. We don't have a frat row, so the fraternities and sororities, there's just not a party scene, to be honest, on campus. And there isn't one like in the surrounding town either in La Jolla. It's really quiet on the weekends, which I definitely enjoyed. Just people recovering from the week of classes, and some people would say otherwise, but I like the quieter weekends because so many students that pass through the campus any given weekday. Everybody is out and about, either going to class, going to the library to study, meeting up with friends to study, maybe going to their organization or club that they're part of. So at the same time, everybody is very on top of their stuff, which again is good if you're around those types of people, just to help stay on track yourself. But it can be a little stressful, with the 10-week classes. So for those of you who don't know, UCSD is on the quarter systems. So we have 3 quarters per year, each being 10 weeks with the finals week at the very end. Another thing I've heard people mention about the quarter system specifically is if you don't like a professor or if you're not enjoying a class, it goes by so quickly. On the other hand, you only have 10 weeks if you're not doing so well. So sometimes I would have an exam on week 3. Like we'd have 2 midterm exams. It would be week 3. We'd be 3 weeks in boom, exam. 2 weeks later, another exam. And then 3-4 weeks later, finals. So it goes by quickly, which is good and bad, just depending on the type of student you might be. All right, moving on to the next con would be just the overall cost of living in San Diego. Don't do it, guys. Everything is expensive though. Ubers, eating out, housing, yeah. Also with how expensive it is, that kind of leads into another con of UCSD being a little bit farther from the actual downtown area of San Diego. It's about 20 minutes by car, or about 40-ish minutes on the train, which is not that bad, but it's still a little ways away. If you're trying to Uber downtown, again, about 20 minutes. Even if you do have a car, you gotta pay for gas. Like, it's expensive, okay? Southern California. The last con I'm gonna talk about is the party life. Again, UC socially dead. We didn't really have one, to be honest. Okay, I'm not gonna drag it, but I would say students definitely had their friend groups. I feel like it was a little harder than anticipated to make friends. Maybe it's just me. That's okay though. So next I'm going to talk about a few things that could be both pros and cons depending on you, depending on how you look at it, and depending on the type of student you are. Again, the first one would be the first one's going to be the campus size. So again, it's huge. They're still expanding. It's a beautiful campus, but it's really, really big. You definitely get your steps in, which is great. But I know some students definitely feel secluded, just because it's already divided into, the 8 different colleges. It can definitely be a bit of a hike, just to get from A to B. If you're trying to go hang out, like in another friend's dorm or anything. We also have the buses that cycle, but it's just a big campus, okay? But that's also great because over the few years that you are there, you get to kind of explore a ton of buildings that you could just like pop into at any point of the day, just to sit there and study. And the last thing would be kind of touching back on the location and the proximity to other things to do. So getting to downtown, for instance, yeah, it's a little bit of a hike, but at the same time, that means less to distract you, less enticing things to have you out when you know you should be in. So that's about it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Again, I've been wanting to make this for a very long time now. I know UC decisions should be out now. Today's the 28th, so they should be out about now. So I don't know, watch this before deciding if you do want to go to UCSD or not. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon in the next video. Bye. Hey, what's up everyone? Thank you guys again for making it this far in the video. If you have, consider subscribing and leaving a like. It definitely helps. Also, we got some pretty good content coming soon. And then thank you guys for letting me work out like my little kinks and everything on camera. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. But okay. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Okay, but the lighting, guys, I cry every time I laugh. I don't know what's up with that, but I'm having a good time. This lighting though. Friend groups. But I would say students. I need some water. Water. Okay.